First of all, let's go back to the big talking points over the last few days, that interview with Annika Larsen and Andre de Ruyter. We just got the legal expert view of what's going on with Mpumelelo Zikalala. Let's now speak to Lukhona Mnguni, the host of On the Spot, so the political side of this. But let's not forget, we're now talking about next year's general election. So unless I'm reading this incorrectly, Lukhona, good morning to you. Everything that any political party says right now has to be done within the context and the purview of next year's election. So you have to think carefully about any reaction here, don't you?
Well, good morning, Gareth, and good morning to our viewers. Yes, I mean, it is quite true that 2024 is upon us and we've entered what we call the silly season of electioneering. But I do think that there are pressing challenges to South Africa that grant immediate attention from various political actors. As you were saying, the issue of Andre de Ruyter and him making those pronouncements to our colleague Annika Larsen. But I think at the same time, we do have to say we don't have enough information. We can't be feeding the rumor mill. And I think once Andre is able to depose at least an affidavit to law enforcement authorities, that will take us a step further, because we do need to know who are these individuals, because short of disclosing them, and as he said, he has not informed the president personally, but he has spoken to advisors of the president. But short of disclosing who these individuals are, and given that there might be a cabinet reshuffle at some point, would you want to risk those individuals remaining in cabinet, or would you want them, to be placated out of cabinet so that, you deal with the people who give political cushion for some of these things to happen, especially within an environment such as Eskom, which has been greatly corrupted and hijacked, I think, by criminal enterprises.
Just how much do you think it's going to change how the president handles this potential, or not this potential, this imminent cabinet reshuffle, Lukhona, off the back of an interview as devastating as that for the country's government? Could that change the way this cabinet could look, do you think? Would it have that kind of impact?
No, I don't think so. I mean, remember that the president himself has made a pronouncement that the ANC, insofar as corruption is concerned, stands as accused number one. And this was probably last year, August, and it invited a number of commentary from various players, including a former president. So it's not like there's something new that is tabled in front of the president. He knows the characters that are within the ANC, and he is as compromised as they are in some instances, particularly because some of them are his closest political allies. And how do you handle such people when you have to make important decisions? But I don't think that, the president, top of mind, that is what is preoccupying him. I think more than anything, it's about solving for the internal dynamics of the tripartite alliance, of the ANC itself, and trying to think about his own future. This is a president that not as long ago as December wanted to resign, and has he taken off that possibility from his cards, or is he going to reshuffle, and then in the near future some dynamics might change and still force him out of office? So I think the president has a lot of things to consider for, but they are probably more personal than they are political.
Potentially as well, but I do want to get your thoughts as I start saying goodbye to you. How should the ANC president and or the country's president, where it's the same person, of course, but wearing two different hats here, of course, how does the president of the country and the president of the ANC use this information like we got out of Andre de Ruyter in the interview? How do they use this to their advantage? Is there anything that the ANC can do here that they could put a positive spin on, but a real positive spin with a real difference to the country, that could see them gain a little bit of support at next year's elections? Is there a good takeaway for them, is what I'm asking?
That's presupposing that the president has more information than we do. And of course, one would have thought by now he probably would have picked up the phone call to Andre de Ruyter just to gain more information. But I'm not hopeful that that has happened, to be quite honest with you. And therefore, I don't think that there is a positive spin that can be placed on this. Particularly for the ANC, which is seen as a limping organization that is compromised, an organization that has really, eroded the goodwill that was there when it came into power almost 30 years ago. So next year is fundamental for a number of reasons for South Africans, Gareth, I think, because people will be asking, is 30 years too little to make a difference? And then they'll be looking at the catalogue of promises that the ANC has made and ticking those off in terms of achievements or lack thereof. And I think when all is said and done, the ANC finds itself in a very difficult position to convince South Africans that it can still get away with making more promises and not acting on them.